Have you ever thought about taking your pontoon boat and adding a third tune? So I'm here in the field by myself. I'm going to take that tube, that pontoon tube, and I'm going to turn my pontoon boat into a Tritoon. And I hope it's worth the money that I've spent. When I originally started shopping for a third tune, there's several places, or not several, but there's a place that's in my state that actually manufactures and makes pontoon tubes. And originally I wanted to do away with the transom on my boat, take the motor off of it, and have a third tube that had a built-in transom and fuel tank. Because I'll show you, like right over here in Squirrel. So there's my gas tank. And you can see my transom runs back 3 or 4 feet, and then my motor hangs on it. Well, when I was doing my shopping around, and if I didn't mention, I got a 21-foot tracker fishing barge. So, and it's a 2004 model that I resurrected from really setting out in the field like it is right now, and just totally baking it and killing it. Got a video on that as well. But when I was doing my shopping for that third tune, I could have one made, and it was going to be around $6,000. And I wasn't even sure whether or not, number one, it was going to work. The people that I talked to about making the pontoon with the built-in transom told me that I would need a longer foot on my motor, the one that I've got, and mine's not short, mine's just a standard. It's not an XL length foot. It's the same that normally comes on them when you buy them new. So it's not short, but it's not the super long one. But that's a lot of money. So I started looking on Craigslist and trying to find a tube that I thought would work. And I got a welder friend of mine that gave me some advice on looking for a tube. There was a gentleman that was selling, he had a couple of different tubes available. And the things that you have to worry about when you're shopping for them is, number one, is it the right length? And number two, does your brackets line up with your boat? You know, you've got the L channel right here, or actually the Z channel. And by the way, I'm no professional installer. This is all me right here, so do your own research and look for yourself, but I'm going to show you what I did. So what he told me was, if you don't, different pontoon manufacturers make them to fit their boats. I opted to go with a third tube that's got this channel track all the way down. And what that allows me to do is to take a fastener like these right here, and it is going to slide right in, and that's how that pontoon tube is going to fasten. So I can slide these in from the back, or I think I can slide them in from the front. Yep, they're made so you can take and slide it right in like that. So that's how it'll fasten here. And so they're adjustable. Now I have to make sure that I get it center to center right, and make sure that my tube is centered. But if you're looking for one and you see one like this, that's the right length, then that's going to make it easier for you to install. You won't have to add a bunch of braces and do either welding or bolting to get everything to work. And I'm gonna be in the shade in a minute because it's hot. It's about 100 degrees out here. So this one is a 24-inch diameter tube. It's the exact same size that's on my boat. I think it's actually going to mount the way this one mounts up. It's going to mount just a little bit higher. I would have been fine to have a 25-inch diameter tube, but I got what I found available. When I bought this particular pontoon tube, it was 16 feet long from nose to the back of the tube. And that was gonna make, if I put it underneath my boat, stick out about 6 inches out the front. And that was gonna cause me a problem. I mean, I could have mounted it and done some finagling right here, but it was going to stick out about this far, and then I've got all this to worry about. So I had it cut down. Now I will tell you, the guy that I had do this work, you can see the welds around through here. It's all TIG welded. It cost me more money to have a foot cut off of this pontoon tube and welded back up, because it's a lot of work that he had to do. He cuts it, and then he basically slices little pieces. He cuts it and leaves about 4 inches, and then he slides it up in here, and then he welds it up. If I hadn't have told you that was cut down, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even recognize that it was cut. So anyway, the welding cost me more than I paid for the tube. If you could find one the right length, it's going to save you a lot of money. Now I'll go ahead and tell you the cost on it. The welding and the tube has cost me $700. That's what I've got in it. So is it worth, am I going to get $700 worth of performance? I don't know. I'm going to answer that in another video that I'll have linked in this video. But I want to show you what all you're going to need in order to install that, and we'll see if I can successfully do this by myself. Now I do have the advantage of having another pontoon trailer. This pontoon is short enough to go in the back of my 8-foot bed, so when I actually carried it over to the welder, I just slid it up in here and left tailgate down, and then put flagging on the back of it because it only stuck out about another 4 feet. But as far as soon as I got done, I slid it right back off and put it on this trailer. Now what I am going to try to do by myself, and it's not extremely heavy, some are, this is a thinner aluminum, and again, this one's a used Toon. It had damage, and it had already been welded up and pressure tested from the guy that I bought it from, and then my welder checked it out. It had a couple of missing plugs, and I put some PVC plugs in it there and there, and that had the one original plug in it right here. And then so I'm going to throw those pieces in here and throw a bolt here and a bolt here. So I had him cut a foot off of it, and it's going to stick about 6 inches in behind here. So what I intend on doing is my ladder comes off on this boat, 4 bolts. I'm going to unhook it, take the ladder off of it, and I got a light bar that I mounted. I'm going to have to lose my light bar. It's going to have to come off. I'm going to have to either get a different light bar or mount it to the side. I'll figure that out later. Maybe mount it all the way up front. I don't know. The light bar is least of my problems. What I want to do is see performance. That way, those of you that are wondering, if you're wondering, you know, or ever thought about adding a third Toon to your boat and said, you know, if I find a deal, is it worth it? Is it worth all the work to do it? Is it going to be worth $700 to $1,000 in performance? Am I going to get better fuel mileage? Am I going to be able to, how much more buoyancy am I going to have? Am I going to be able to load more weight into it? So I'm doing this for you, and I'm going to find out. I hope it's going to pay off. So I'm excited about turning it into it. And you have options on, you know, you can buy you a Tritoon. You got the money, go buy you a brand new Tritoon. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a new boat. And I could have shopped for a used boat. And I've considered that, you know, but I've got Squirrel, and my whole channel's named after this boat. But I've got this boat like I want it. I got a full enclosure already for it. I have it set up like I want it. I've done some things on the inside. Make a long story short, I got this boat like I want it. I don't want to have to get another boat and then have to get another full enclosure made for it, or hoping I can buy one for it, and do the kind of fishing that I want to do. Everything from catfishing to striper fishing to lake trout fishing to crappie fishing. I can do that on this boat. I can spend a night on the boat. Again, got it like I want it. So I just want to see, okay, with the same motor and everything, adding that third tune, that's what we're going to do. We're going to yank that off right there, that ladder. I'm going to, as far as tools that I think I need, again, you see, I haven't even done anything yet. So this is what I've got. I got a cooler with a Fresca and a couple of Pepsis. I'm probably going to finish those off before this is done. I've got drill bits. I've got the bolts that I ordered, and these bolts are actually made to hold on solar panels on the roof of a house. That's what I ended up finding, because I don't have a clue what the manufacturer is that made that tune right there. So that's what these are made for. So they are metric bolts, and they've got lock nuts and washers with them. I bought 2 packs on Amazon. I've got a marker, permanent marker. I got a speed square. I got a couple of pairs of gloves, and I've got those gloves because I'm going to be using anti-seize on these stainless bolts. And if you don't use anti-seize on the bolts, folks, with any kind of stainless, you may get away with it with all of them but one. And there's always going to be one. That thing's going to seize up, and it's going to weld itself to this as you put that nut on or start trying to tighten it up. And it's going to seize up before it actually tightens up. And then you're going to be cutting it off or trying to break it off. I know because I've done it. So put anti-seize anytime you're doing stainless to stainless. Stainless steel nut to stainless steel bolt. Put that anti-seize on it, then you don't have to worry about it. And also, if you ever want to come back and take it off, if I put this tune in here and I decide, you know what, I don't like it, there's things I don't want, I don't want it underneath there anymore, all I got to do is unbolt it and it'll come right loose if you got anti-seize on these bolts. But even if I was never planning on taking it off, there would be, my luck, there would be one that would lock down and it wouldn't tighten up. So I'm going to use anti-seize. That's what that's what that's for. I've got a battery powered ratchet. I've got regular toolbox with ratchet sockets. I've got ratchet wrenches right there. I got a hammer. I've got a punch. Again, I said tape measure, chalk line. And I think what I'm going to do is chalk it right down the middle and then measure off the width that I'm going to need. And then I've got some ratchet straps. And that's how I'm going to jack up this pontoon tube, this log, to get it tight to the underside of the boat right there. Now, I've got that one other expense that I have $700 in that. One other expense is if you got a pontoon trailer, you're going to need a Tritoon trailer. And that's the skid for the Tritoon. That little skid right there cost me $200. This is a Mid-America trailer. And I did upgrade my trailer to a dual axle. And I did that because I want to pull this boat and fish a lot of places that aren't super close to home. So I was upgrading the trailer anyway. So I got the tandem axle trailer, and to add that Tritoon little shelf right there, like I said, was an extra $200. So that puts me up to $900, and then the stainless steel bolts, and then my labor to take and put it in. And again, your deal will be depending on whether or not you can find a tube that's short enough or the right length to go up underneath your boat. Whether or not you'll have to take and weld it, have it cut down and done by a professional, because these things can explode. They build up the gas on the inside of them, and if you don't know what you're doing with these tubes, you can get yourself hurt or killed. So again, I cared as somebody who does this for a living. I didn't cut it down, so I paid for it, and that's why I didn't mind paying more for the welding work than I did for the actual tube itself. So like I said, I could have put it up underneath there at 16 foot long and had it stick out 6 inches, but I did not want it to do that. I didn't want it to be in my way of my trolling motor. That would have been a big deal, my trolling motor going off the front of it. So that was a choice that I made, and that's why it's as expensive as it is. And again, if you take your time and be patient, you can shop around and you can do a little bit better than what, or a whole lot better than what I did on the price of it. So, yeah, that's the plan. Okay, let's take this tube. Let's see if we can't put it in this boat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strap you on the chest and let you come along. Is the first thing I gotta do is get that ladder off the boat. So let's get on with it, shall we? Let's get you strapped on and let's rock and roll. Okay, light bar's off, out of the way, ladder's off. Now I gotta take and drill these holes right here. I need to know where to drill them and how far apart off of center. So, center to center, 12 1/8. That's what I am there anyway. Let's see what we are at the front. When I button, I am 12 3/16. But I've got some play in this back and forth. I got a little bit of left-right wiggle room. I need to be close, but I don't have to be within like a 32nd or even a 16th. Because I'll show you right here. Let's throw two in here real quick. And go like that. Like that. So you can see, well, I ain't got a lot of room. That's how much room I got. See that move back and forth, that way and that way. So I need to be close. So on my particular pontoon right here, I'm gonna go with 12 1/8. So that's gonna be 6 1/16 center to center. Now I measured here to here. That same thing if I held right in the center and went center to center. I'm 12 1/8. So I'm 12 1/8, left side to left side, 12 1/8, right side to right side, kind of like on center studs, folks. Laying out house studs in a house. So 12 1/8, that's going to give me 6 1/16 off of direct center. Now, lengthwise, I got those Z bars up underneath that bracing I'm going to be bolting this to. From where it's going to go to the back, I'm going to be 11 feet. So that's what these channels run, 11 feet. And then that's going to end that 6 1/16 off of center. I've got a place right here I can bolt and a place all the way up front I can bolt. I would like to get a bolt in both, but if I got two right here and I got one all the way up here, I'll be happy with that. I will be happy with that. So let's go up underneath here. And we're gonna go up to that transom all the way back there. And these are what I'm gonna have to drill all the way up to 11 feet. So we're gonna see where 11 feet runs all the way back. And I'm not going all the way back. I'm gonna be off of it a little bit. 10, 11. All right. So, on my particular boat, I'm going to go to this one. I'm not going to be able to get any in this one or those up there. So this is all going to be the And these might be in the way right here. Just looking at those, I may have to take those out. We'll get to that in a minute. But right now, I got a drill here and the rest of the way back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 I got to drill and I got to find center on. All right. Well, let's find center. And then we'll go 6 1/16 off of center 5 times. So I'm gonna get my Sharpie marker, speed square, chalk box, and I got a couple of vice grips, and so I don't have to fight that falling down on me once I find center on that. So I'm thinking just snapping a line and then measuring off center. That's what I'm thinking about doing. And that little peak right there should be center. Five and 15/16, and I'm marking 6 1/8 on the money right there. All right, that's my 2 outside lines. That's 12 and 1/8 of an inch there to there, right where I need to be at the back. All right, dead center in between these 2 brackets. That one off a little bit. That one's on the money. All right, kind of to that edge. Okay. So now I can hook a chalk line and I can snap it, and I'll have something to go by on the rest of these. And then I'm going to drill dead center of these right here. And that'll have me located right dead in the middle of the boat. Hopefully. All right. So let's go from there. That's center in between these supports anyway. Dead perfect center. All right. Okay, so I'm just showing you because I'm working by myself. I got my chalk box and I've got my 2 marks where my holes are going to be drilled. There was my center line, and then I'm 12 1/8 from here to here, directly off of center. I double checked it because I'm a perfectionist and it's not a good thing. Like, I'm a perfectionist that's far from perfect, but I double checked from the outside, and believe it or not, like when I hook the Z-bar right here all the way out there, I'm dead on with that right there. So that makes me feel good. But since I'm working by myself, I just got a pair of vice grips, and I put that right on my mark right here, and I just clipped it so it doesn't fall off. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come right down through here, and I got to do this to both sides. And I'm not gonna pain y'all for. I just want to show you how I'm doing it. Like, you're going, how you doing that upside down? How in the world is it not falling off? Well, I got my helping hand, my vice grips right there. And now I'm gonna dust my line. I'm gonna show you what I do. See my line down through there? I'm gonna dust it. And the reason I do that, it'll put me a crisp mark on it. And I won't have a big old wide mark on it. So I always dust it, even when I'm doing plywood. So I'm gonna hold it right there on my mark where I'm gonna be drilling, and then I'm gonna pop it, and then I'm gonna move it. And now I've got perfectly straight lines that aren't fuzzed up real bad. I'll be able to center punch the center of that right there on each one and get them drilled. So that's next. Well, I got to do this other side. Like I said, repeat the process right here. I'm not even going to re-chalk the line. It's got plenty on it. It'll do what I need it to do. I'm just going to go down and I'm going to move my vice grip over. I'm going to snap out line, have me 2 lines, and then I'm going to start drilling. And I'll set up my outside camera so y'all can see me drilling from the front side. And we'll get some holes in this thing. And at least we have all the holes for the T-slots. All right, be back in a sec. Okay, so I got my drill bit and I got my center punch. Everything's marked out. And now, and it's still hot, I'm gonna get up underneath here. I'm gonna start drilling. Now, I will tell you, I'm drilling upside down. And what you definitely don't want to do is get any metal in your eyeballs, because that does not feel good. You'll end up going to the eye doctor getting that mess drilled up. So wear your safety glasses, safety protection. I'm gonna go through and punch them, and then I'll come back and drill them. All right, folks, it is time to slide this thing up underneath there. I'm gonna jack the trailer up so I won't have such a hard time fitting it in. You'll hear me panting and breathing and I ain't saying nothing, but I could use some help. If y'all grab on that end right there and help me out, I'd appreciate it. Now you're gonna see me crawl up underneath there and slide these in those T-slots that I was showing y'all before. These things right here. All right, we're back this morning. Well, it's morning for me. Working on squirrel right here, getting out of the heat of the day. Sun's already popping up and it's already getting warm. I had to take a metal plate that was on here off, and I'm about to drill this hole right here to put this to hook the Toon up on the front, and also make sure that that hole that's back there is lined up and it's good. All the rest of the holes are drilled and the bolts are in. You can see them down through there, 1 2 3 4 5 on each side. And then once I get these 2 drilled, we'll be able to take and mount this thing permanent and make it a permanent fixture and turn and get us a Tritoon. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna set you up right here, and you're gonna see my struggles this morning, because I'm sure there's gonna be plenty. So, all right. And now it's time to put this thing in here permanently. So I'm gonna put you over here so you can feel my struggles. If I get stuck, I'll help you. Anti-seize on both of those. It lined up pretty well, a lot easier than I actually thought it was going to line up, considering that I had 5 bolts and T-slots. I didn't have to re-drill, I didn't have to take it down, it wasn't a big headache. Set aside one day, and hopefully it's a day that it's not 100 and something degrees. Definitely doable in a day, mounting it once you got it the length that you want it. So this is what I got right here. The very front bolt is here. I still got to snug that up. Actually, I think I already got that snugged up, but I'll double check it. All the rest of them down through here are done. You can see I got that strap on there. That helped me right on the bottom. I needed to pull that pontoon this way, and so 3 ratchet straps did the trick. It did everything I needed to do. One at the front, one at the back, and then one just to shift just a little bit to help you line things up. If you're by yourself, a day is doable. Half a day if you got help. The biggest thing is just crawling around the trailer and in and out of the bars, and then I've got 5 bolts on each side that I had to line up and make sure they were lined up as I pulled it up. So so now I can take this ratchet strap off. I got that back one that's off there. So that was that's easy enough for a jack. That took care of it. I got one to take off back there yet. I forgot to take it loose. And then I'm going to put the stairs back on it, and we're going to put it in the water. So but it's in here. I still got to raise, you can see that gap up underneath it. That's how much this has to be raised up. I'll do that. That right there is where I tore my carpet a little bit. There, that little aluminum angle stops at the back there. And then I guess that just helps protect the bottom of the tube. But it caught it. I heard it ripping when I was trying to shove it in by myself. So anyway, Squirrel is now a Tritoon. So if you like this video, give me that thumbs up, please, and consider subscribing to the channel. Click on that video right up here so you can see the performance of before and after. God bless. Have a good one. We'll catch you on the water.